Hello students, welcome back in this video session of Pharmaceutical Organic Chemistry 1 Practical. So in today's video session we will be discussing about the solubility test. We have already discussed the systematic qualitative analysis of unknown organic compounds, in which we have covered the preliminary test and the Lessonge test, that is the detection of element. Now the solubility test is very important because after doing the solubility test we can segregate our compound into a suitable or specific group. So let's get started. We have seen the flow chart of systematic qualitative analysis of unknown organic compounds. In the previous session we have covered the preliminary test, where we can examine the given unknown compound based on its state, whether it is a solid or liquid, based on the color and based on the odor. We can categorize the compound into a particular class. We have also seen how ignition test will help us to identify the compound, and we can also get idea about the presence of double or triple bond, that is the unsaturation in the compound. So we can come to know whether our compound is saturated or unsaturated by performing the bromine water test. So that is the test for unsaturation. After doing the preliminary test we can perform the detection of elements. So we have seen in most of the organic compounds the carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, these are present as the core elements. Additionally, in some of the compounds we have the auxiliary or the secondary elements like nitrogen, sulfur and halogens. So that is the detection of elements. We have to prepare the sodium fusion extract and then we have to subject it for the particular test. After doing these preliminary test and detection of elements, the next is the solubility test. So if you have watched these videos, then it is easy to understand the solubility test. If you have not watched these videos, the link is given in the description box. After doing the solubility test, you can go for the functional group detection by performing the several chemical tests, and then to confirm the identity of the compound you can perform the melting point determination. If your compound is solid, you can determine the boiling point if it is liquid. Still, if you are not able to identify the compound, you can convert your compound into a suitable derivative by a particular chemical reaction, and then you can get the pure solid derivative which will have a very sharp melting point. So based on this you can easily identify the identity of the given unknown organic compound, whether it could be in liquid or it could be in a solid. So we'll see what is a solubility test and how solubility test is helping us to get closer to the identity of the compound. So what you have to do here in the solubility test, as the name implies, we will be checking the solubility of our compound in a suitable solvent. So based on the solubility we can categorize our compound into a particular group. So this test is usually done in a test tube. You have to take a clean test tube and then you have to add to that distilled water. Amount of compound which you are supposed to take, that is approximately 0.1 gram if it is solid. If it is liquid, you can take 0.1 ml of the liquid sample. Then to that you can add distilled water. You can slightly shake the test tube and then check the solubility. Now suppose if your compound is getting solubilized in the water, you can get the idea, that is your compound could be in a group 1 or it could be in a group 2. To specify whether it is in group 1 or group 2, Again you can take your compound in another test tube and then add little amount of ether and then check the test tube and check the solubility. Now suppose if your compound is getting solubilized in the ether, then it will be present in a group 1. So your compound is belonging to group 1. If the compound is not getting solubilized in the ether, that indicates the compound belongs to group 2. So this is how you can categorize your compound into group 1 and group 2. Now there is another possibility that after adding your compound into a distilled water, it is not getting solubilized, it remains insoluble. So in this case, it will not be in a group 1 or group 2, then it could be in group 3. So what you can do, you can take again fresh test tube, add little amount of compound and try to dissolve in a dilute HCl by shaking the test tube. Now if your compound is getting solubilized in this dilute HCl, then it will belong to group 3. If the compound is not getting solubilized in the dilute HCl, it remains insoluble, then what you can do, you can take another fresh test tube, add your compound and then check the solubility in the dilute NaOH. If it gets solubilized in the dilute NaOH, then it indicates the compound may be in a group 4. Okay. Then in group 4, it could be either acids or it could be a phenols. So you can have a simple solubility test to differentiate whether it is acid or whether it is phenol. You can take fresh test tube, take your compound and then add the sodium bicarbonate solution. If the sodium bicarbonate solution is capable to solubilize your compound, it confirms it is an acid. If it is not solubilizing your compound, then it will be a phenol. Okay, so this is how you can get the differentiation of group 4, whether your compound is belonging to the acids or it is belonging to the phenols. Now suppose if you are not having this possibility, after adding the dilute NaOH into a compound, your compound remains insoluble, then you have already done the Lessons test, that is the elemental detection. Now suppose in your compound the nitrogen test is negative, that means the nitrogen was absent in the compound. So in such case, if these all above possibilities are not there, if your compound is insoluble in the dilute NaOH and if it is giving nitrogen test negative or nitrogen is absent, then what you can do, you can take again fresh test tube and try to dissolve your compound in the concentrated sulfuric acid. If concentrated sulfuric acid is capable to solubilize your compound, then it will be in a group 5. If concentrated H2SO4 is not able to dissolve your compound, then your compound is in group 6. Okay, so this test you can use it very carefully, and this is based on the presence or absence of the nitrogen. So you have to do it, the Lessons test, very accurately to identify which particular group is present in a particular given sample. Okay, so either it could be a group 5 or group 6. If nitrogen is present, okay, if your test for nitrogen is positive and your compound is insoluble in the dilute NaOH, then it will indicate the group 7 is present. Okay, your compound belongs to group 7. So this is how you can utilize this solubility test, which is a quite simple test, and using different solvents and checking the solubility of the given unknown sample, we can categorize our compound into a particular group. So this is the detection of groups. Okay, so you can use this solubility test and you can confirm whether your compound is present in group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7. Okay, so this is the chart which you can use it when you are actually performing the practicals to check the solubility of your sample. Okay, so this is what we have discussed. Group 1, after checking the solubility of your sample or compound in the water, if it is soluble, then it could be group 1 or 2. If it is soluble in ether, then it could be a resorcinol, it could be alcohol, it could be aldehyde, ketones and acids. Usually you should remember in group 1, the compounds which we have, they are usually having low molecular weight. If they are insoluble in ether, that is, they are present in group 2. Okay, so group 2 compounds, what are these? These are the sugars, glucose, urea, then acetamide, thiourea and so on. So you can easily make out if your Lessons test is indicating there is a presence of sulfur. If sulfur test is positive, then it clearly indicates there could be a thiourea, and then preliminary test you also perform, so you can have idea about whether it is a solid or liquid. Similarly for urea, the nitrogen test will be positive. Like that you will get a hint, and then based on the solubility you can categorize your compound into a suitable groups. So by using this chart you can get the idea what could be the identity of your compound. So here from group 1 to group 7 we have some of the common examples which are usually kept for spotting in the systematic qualitative analysis of unknown organic compounds. And here, for distinguishing between group 5, 6 and 7, the nitrogen test plays an important role. So if nitrogen is absent, and after checking the solubility of your substance in the H2SO4, you can classify into group 5, 6 and 7. So you can see in group 5 we have especially the aldehydes, ketones like benzaldehyde, acetophenone, benzophenone, alcohols and so on. Then in group 6 we have the hydrocarbons which are liquid like toluene, then solid like naphthalene, which you can also smell and you can get a very good hint about the naphthalene. Then the chlorobenzene, bromobenzene, benzyl chloride and so on. So these are usually aromatic compounds and they have a very peculiar characteristic odor, which is also helping you in the preliminary test to identify these compounds. Then usually you have very rare possibility of getting compound from group 7, which are basically the benzamides, anylides and the nitro compounds. So here the nitrogen is present. Okay, so if you are getting the nitrogen test positive, then there is a strong indication that your compound could be in a group 7. So based on the preliminary test, solubility test and of course the melting point or the boiling point for a particular sample, you have to utilize these and you should get closer to the identity of the given unknown organic compound. So this is all about the solubility test. Soon after the solubility test you can do the functional group detection. Now suppose if your solubility test is indicating the compound belong to group 7, so what are the chemical test applicable for group 7 that you should perform, and then you can determine the melting point or the boiling point, and that will actually help you to identify the given unknown compound. So these are the references from which I have abstracted the tables which I have listed in the slides. So hope you have understood these solubility test. Thank you for watching this.